Before the video starts, check out this video on the screen, link in the description. It's about where I do a theory on Ultron Vision and how he fits into the MCU timeline, and what's his next move after What If. Hey, it's 2727, and before the Venom Carnage movie, before Carnage whoops Venom's ass and Venom gets transported just in time to save his life into Spider-Man's reality, we're gonna watch Top 10 Strongest Symbiotes. The symbiotes are them crawly things. The things that latch onto you and they take your soul. I don't know how it works. Is it like, do you take control with them, or do they take control of you? Do you get to control them when they're like in their form? Like the monster form? I don't know. But Bright better be on here. Venom obviously is going to be on here. Carnage is going to be on here. They're the only three I know. Maybe there's like girl Venom. Because there's always a girl version of everything, isn't there? But hey, that's how society works. There has to be equal. There's going to be a trans Venom. There's going to be a pansexual Venom. Going to turn to a pan. I'm getting off topic here. I'm going to start the video.
The symbiotes, an alien race called the Clintars, have always been one of the most fascinating extraterrestrials in the Marvel Universe. A parasitic creature that requires bonding to a host, the symbiotes have always been...
Oh, no. There was a guy. There was a guy with long hair as well, and he made the things. He's like God of them.
Quite the punch.
And he might be not. He's not a symbiote though.
One should not take lightly. What originated as a plot point to introduce a new black and white costume for Spider-Man soon turned into a sentient alien that would slink its disturbing gross self into the hearts of many a reader. So today we're taking a look at which of the new black and white costumes are listed at the top.
Who's Spider-Man's #1 villain? If you're doing basically on the looks, like if you just see the villains without, watching them, you probably think Venom is like Spider-Man's most iconic villain because he looks exactly like him except bigger and better. Spider-Man can't beat Venom. Like, not the movie Venom. He's just too strong.
Symbiotes. Note that we won't be counting the hosts, only focusing on the alien creatures themselves.
But you want to say, Hola? Okay, we get it. Ultron.
And at number 10, Venom.
Venom?
Maybe the
He's
most
number 10?
iconic symbiote, and the first to make an appearance in the Marvel Universe, he's actually the weakest of the symbiotes. This is because he's the first of the bloodline. The offspring of a symbiote is much stronger than its parent. And since Venom was the first on Earth, all of the offspring symbiotes born from him are exponentially more
he's number one.
Each generation
he's
of symbiote
like granddad.
is more powerful than its predecessor. That being said, it does come down to a matter of how you use it. Eddie Brock has always had a proficient amount of control over the Venom symbiote. And the other hosts that have worn Venom in the past, from Flash Thompson to Mac Gargan to Peter Parker himself, have all exhibited differences in the symbiote's functionality that are unique. Venom first hit the scene in The Amazing Spider-Man issue 252 back in 1984, first appearing as an alien costume that bonded with Peter Parker during Secret Wars.
That was sick,
it wasn't until The Amazing Spider-Man issue 300, 4 years later, that Venom would take shape as Venom. And not just a parasitic symbiote. It bonded with Eddie Brock, who at the time wanted revenge against Peter Parker for ruining his journalism career. Up next, number 9, Mania/Maniac. The Mania symbiote first appeared in Venom Volume 1, Issue 1 in 2003. It was cloned from a piece of Venom that was obtained by the Ararat Corporation, with the goal of using it to exterminate all life on Earth. Mania was a bit of a weirdo. It refused to bond with hosts, and instead would just brutally murder them.
What?
Just for the fun of it. At one point, it bonded with a prison inmate named Eric Moody, and then jumped ship to an elderly mental patient named Alphonse Poigna. Moody managed to fight off Mania, but only for it to bond with Alphonse and then mock Moody about getting raped in prison after seeing his memories of the event. And then Mania raped
this guy's weird.
So, yeah, not the kind of...
Wait, is that him? Was that Venom? That was that Venom.
Become Maniac, bonding with Lee Price, who had previously bonded with Venom. Price renamed Mania as Maniac after Price had ambushed the original host and badly injured her with
symbiotes can merge with each other.
Apparently, Price is permanently bonded with Maniac.
I didn't know that.
Using his immense willpower to remain bonded to the symbiote at all times. Up next, number 8, Scream. In 1993, a Venom story arc came out called Lethal Protector. It followed the story of the Sinister Life Foundation and its leader, assigned
what the fuck? Scream looks like the Phoenix. Literally looks like the Phoenix with a symbiote. Isn't that the X-Men girl?
Symbiote soldiers by extracting something called seeds from the Clintar alien race and
Steezy.
growing them into fully formed symbiotes. Essentially, it was their offspring. The Life Foundation aimed to
The
use
offspring.
these symbiotes as guardians. Their whole shtick was that they were preparing for something called MAT, which
Matt.
is mutually assured destruction. And they
Who
had
the hell
a
is
whole
Matt?
roster of wealthy clients who were paying for the Life Foundation to ensure that they would
The
have
Life
comfortable lives if the
Foundation.
world went to shit.
That's
Once
off the
Drake had kidnapped
movie.
Eddie Brock and managed to forcibly extract these
I'm
5
a
seeds from
genius.
Venom, he was able to bond the offspring with members of the Foundation's security force, one of which was named Donna Diego, who became the yellow and red
Diego?
She eventually was defeated by Eddie Brock and
Diego?
killed, but her siblings would outlive her and cause Brock a whole lot of trouble down the line. Speaking of, in at number 7, Riot. Riot has been getting a lot
Hey,
more
let's
attention
go,
these days,
my
thanks
boy
to his
Riot.
upcoming cinematic debut in the Sony Venom film, starring Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. Now, Riot is one of Scream's siblings. It bonded with Trevor Cole, a particularly aggressive and unhinged mercenary working as part of the Life Foundation.
Yeah, see, Riot is one of the strongest. He's stronger than Venom. Venom's weak. Well, Venom's a pussy. You see, Venom's actually a pussy. He can't do shit. All he can do is, like, grab things. He can probably shoot webs. Yeah, he could shoot webs if he wants, but all he does is grab things.
Riot is known for being the largest symbiote of the 5.
Oh,
and often
let's
uses
go.
very aggressive and violent tactics in combat. He often created large bludgeoning weapons from his arms, along the lines of hammers or maces, and tended to be considered the strongest out of the group, although his exact strength level was never really elaborated on. After he and his siblings were defeated by Eddie Brock, they were all shipped off to the Vault, a prison for superhuman criminals that had a wing specifically for extraterrestrial threats. There he was experimented on, pretty cruelly, and then in the Planet of the Symbiotes story arc in 1995, Venom, in an attempt to subdue an invasion of symbiotes, let out a powerful telekinetic scream that caused them so much pain that they all committed suicide.
What?
Which then affected Riot and his siblings. Which leads us to our next number. In at 6,
They killed themselves? Why, so Venom beat Riot and the other 4, and Venom's on number 10. That doesn't make sense. I'm fucking confused. She might be talking about hand-to-hand combat, I don't know. The good guys always win, I swear. It's so annoying. Why does the good guys always win? Like, come on.
Riot and his siblings broke out of their confinement at the Vault after Venom.
Oh, isn't Hybrid an offspring on Carnage? I think, or maybe it's another one.
Super hybrid symbiote known aptly as Hybrid, who would then briefly bond with a character named Scott Washington, who was a guard at the Vault.
Oh no, Hybrid is like all of them merged. I think I've seen one of these.
Hybrid wasn't actually that much of a threat after all. Instead, the experiments they had undergone were causing it a lot of pain, and the symbiotes were actually the ones preventing Scott, who had a lot of anger issues, from being violent. Unfortunately for Hybrid and its desires to be a good-intentioned vigilante, Eddie Brock was on a mission to hunt down the symbiotes, and ended up killing Washington in the process.
Wow.
Would then be found by the U.S. Army, be separated, and then be put to use as part of the Mercury team in order to fight Carnage. Needless to say, being the combination of Riot and the other symbiotes was significantly stronger than just a singular symbiote. Side note, the sibling symbiotes, Phage, Agony, and Lasher, didn't make this list because of how similar they were to Scream and Riot in terms of ability and power. Although, Lasher was trained to bond with a dog named War Dog, which appeared in Carnage vs. Deadpool, and it's like really
Carnage
awesome.
vs. Deadpool.
Symbiote Dog.
Who would win? Carnage or Deadpool? How the fuck do I get these ads? Does anyone else get these ads?
Speaking of Carnage, though, up next, number 5, Carnage. Carnage has never been one to hold
Carnage
back,
is only
but
number
that's
5.
also what makes him a bit vulnerable. He's kind of loose cannon at times, like a speeding train of violent chaos.
Yeah,
Loose cannon, kind of
crazy. He's mental.
Carnage first appeared in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 360 back in 1992. He
Oh,
was
is this
created
the
with
one where he's
intention of
like-
being a much darker version of Venom, a total psychopath who had no sense of morality. His host Cletus Cassidy was modeled after DC's Joker. And
Hey,
the
Venom
character
looks
is
like a
often depicted
pussy
as Venom's
compared to
arch enemy.
Carnage.
So, how did he come to be fiction-wise? Well, he's Venom's offspring. When Venom reattached to
Oh.
Eddie Brock in prison, Venom left its offspring inside the cell. Clintar have no emotional attachment to their offspring, so Venom did
Oh, is that what's gonna happen in the movie? Is that? I don't know.
informing Eddie about it, thinking
Oh,
it was of no importance.
shit.
That symbiote offspring
Wait, because in the movie, what's his name? The guy, the killer, who gets Carnage. He bit Venom and like sucked in some of his blood. So he like, is that count as an offspring? I'm confused.
bonded with Cassidy, and Carnage was born.
Cassidy.
Even stronger than Brock's and Venom's. Carnage broke out of prison and started murdering left, right, and center, leaving the word Carnage at the scene of each of the crimes, written in blood, as one does. And at number 4, Scorn. Scorn is the hybrid prothesis created from Carnage that combines both technology and the symbiote. Now in Carnage Volume 1, Issue 4, Carnage is taken back to Earth after breaking out of the Raft prison by an American industrialist by the name of Michael Hall, who then locks up Cletus Cassidy and uses the symbiote to create new suits of armor. Carnage breaks out of its containment, bonds with a psychiatrist named Tanis Knives, but then things get a little weird. Carnage leaves his own offspring within Knives' prosthetic arm. Knives is horrified by this, cuts her arm off, but then later would rebond with it, becoming Scorn. Scorn is essentially a techno-hybrid, a machine symbiote who is able to fuse itself with different kinds of technology and mechanical weapons, which most definitely came in handy. No pun intended.
I don't know if I like that one.
Anti-Venom. Anti-Venom first debuted in the 2008 story arc New Ways to Die in the Amazing Spider-Man 569. Now at the time, Eddie Brock was
so he's literally
he had cancer,
opposite colors,
and
he's anti-venom.
His boss, a man named Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative, had a healing touch, which then cured Brock of his cancer. So when Venom came along and tried to rebond with him, Brock's skin became caustic to Venom, causing him to be enveloped.
Oh yeah, I don't get how that works. I don't get how the cancer thing works, because oh wait, they might explain it.
Symbiote created from the remnants of Venom, which then merged with his white blood cells that were charged thanks to Mr. Negative. Anti-Venom got a slew of standout.
I don't get how the cancer thing works. How does the cancer thing work? Because wouldn't he be able to bond with him anyway? Or can he only bond with him because he's dying? I don't know. This is so confusing. I'm so confused. Anti-Venom.
Brock was the host. He was immune to fire, heat, and sound-based attacks. Anti-Venom also has a neat little nifty healing ability. He produces antibodies that can cure things like diseases, radioactivity, parasites, and the effects of drugs. Whenever he's around Spider-Man, he cancels out Spidey's powers. And that being said, Anti-Venom does come with his own unique weaknesses too. Concentrations of Norman Osborn's super venom via Freak's DNA makes it incredibly vulnerable. And if touched by Mr. Negative, his healing abilities can become void. Brock will later sacrifice the symbiote to cure people from the Spider Island virus. Though. Moving on to number 2, Toxin. Toxin, being Carnage's offspring.
Toxin, that's the guy.
Toxin. Now, Carnage was disgusted by his offspring and hated it, especially since he knew he would become stronger than he was. With Carnage being his father, this makes Venom his grandfather. Now, Carnage tried to kill Toxin, whereas Venom tried to protect it. The intention of raising it to become disgusted by his offspring and hated it, especially since he knew he would become stronger than he was. With Carnage being his father, this makes Venom his grandfather. Now, Carnage tried to kill Toxin, whereas Venom tried to protect it.
Wait, what the fuck is Venom doing? So, Venom wants to kill Carnage, but he wants to protect Toxin, who is a worse version of Carnage. What the fuck is Venom doing? I'm so confused, Venom.
Intention of raising it to become his partner, but was also a little bit concerned about Toxin since he was the 1000th symbiote of their line, and feared that he might go insane due to a genetic breakdown. Now, Toxin can also do some pretty cool stuff. He has inherited the abilities of his lineage, like sticking to walls and the ability to shift his identity. He can blend into his surroundings to become practically invisible and undetectable. He has unlimited webbing, and he can form solid weapons from his limbs. In addition to that, he has a much more accelerated healing ability compared to his father, exceptional tracking abilities, and prefers to not take over
puke vomit?
Rather, listens to their opinions instead. He has a stronger resistance to heat and sonic-based attacks too compared to Carnage, and has a venomous bite. And finally, number 1, Null. Null is not only the newest symbiote.
That's not even a symbiote. Null's not even a symbiote. He's the creator of the symbiotes. He's not a symbiote. He's a god.
On this list, but also the most powerful.
Literally
all thanks to who it's
god.
Bonded with. He's the god of symbiotes. So before we get
wait, what?
And finally, in at number 1, Null. Null is not only the newest symbiote to debut in the Marvel Universe on this list, but also the most powerful. All thanks to who it's bonded with. He's the god.
So it is a symbiote. Shit, my bad.
Symbiotes. So, before we get into this number any further, heads up, this does contain spoilers for the recent Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman Venom run. So, you've been warned. Alright, so in this Venom run, we're getting a bit of a retelling about the history of the Clintars. The first issue revealed that something called the God of the Symbiotes had awoken, and it kind of looked like a giant dragon when it first appeared. Essentially, his backstory is that
gods are
there
in the Marvel?
against the Celestials when they created the universe, and created a living sword from his own shadow. Then used the Celestial's severed head to forge his symbiote sword in its cosmic energies, along with creating a symbiotic suit of armor from the eldritch darkness that he commanded. Essentially, he had manifested the first symbiote out of his shadow, so he could kill a celestial. Null's range of abilities are pretty vast. He has something called unbrachinesis.
Wait, is that Miles Morales?
Actually gives him the ability to create...
Wait, I'll go a question. What has Spider-Man got anything to do with all these symbiotes? All he has is a similar symbol to them, and that's it. And he's got super strength. Spider-Man couldn't actually take one symbiote, unless he's got explosives, but anyone can die from explosives. He can die from a gun, Spider-Man.
And manipulate a fount of eldritch darkness, which is a manifestation of the primordial void that existed before the universe, also known as the living abyss.
Ooh.
So yeah, overall, pretty intense stuff. Now he can dominate symbiotes, being the divine progenitor of the symbiotes and the nexus of their hive mind. Now that means he can take control of Venom and essentially revert him to more primitive and aggressive behavior. Null is immortal. He's lived for at least 13.7 billion years, is self-sustaining, has a regenerative healing factor, and all of the strength and durability that you can imagine. His one weakness, though, is divine electricity. He's vulnerable to it, so individuals like Thor can really him up real good. Temporarily sustaining.
Thor
has a regenerative healing factor, and all of the strength and durability that you can imagine. His one weakness, though, is divine electricity. He's vulnerable to it, so individuals like Thor can really him up real good.
Temporarily easy as. If I could get my TV and get a toaster and put in a bathtub.
Up on the big screen. Give us a shout in the comments below.
You know who I want to see on the big screen? I reckon Riot's still alive. Come on. Riot wouldn't have died. Riot's a god. Come on. Everybody loves Riot. Riot will never die, okay? Riot's out there. His offspring's out there. You know? I reckon there's like a little hatch below. Yeah, Riot's not dead. I hope he's not dead. In the movie, the movie. We're talking about the movies.